But we are talking about the Pentagon today. So I guess there was this fake picture going around, again, from AI. It was like a picture of it exploding, and it went viral on Twitter, and it kind of blew up.
Yeah, and crashed the market.
Yeah.
So before we get to, are we diving straight into it? Because we got to reset, we got to set the show.
Set the scene.
Yeah.
For it.
Okay.
Take your guard and let it down, 'cause you can work wherever now.
Well, hi guys, welcome back. I'm looking at the wrong camera. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Sydney, and we've got Roy here.
Hey, hi, how is everybody?
Hi, good, you alright?
I'm good. No, I'm great. I think so, at least. This will be a good episode. We have so much to talk about. We took like a couple weeks off between, I was at the Derby.
You've been too busy.
We've been really busy, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But we took like 2 weeks off, and like everything happened. Congressional interviews of the
Literally,
CEO
so
for
many.
ChatGPT, Elon, which there's the presidential announcement that DeSantis just did on Twitter Spaces.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Pentagon, which we're going to talk about today. I mean, there's so much going on. We took like the worst 2 weeks off,
I know.
but that's
There's a
okay.
Instagram full of articles you keep sending me.
Yeah. So what do we got on today's episode?
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about, I guess there was a picture. I didn't even see this until you just mentioned it.
You're just taking, when you took off. You're like, nope, I'm out.
What do you mean when I
I'm
took
off.
off? I took off
No,
for like
from
a
the
day.
podcast.
Oh,
not
yeah.
from work.
From the podcast, no. I mean, you send me so many things. I usually like them and then like mean to revisit them, but sometimes I don't.
To be fair, I didn't send you this one because I
Okay,
just kind of
well
figured
then-
you'd see it. It was everywhere.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I've been busy. We have so many things happening at our house
You
too.
getting married?
Yeah.
Gosh.
We need to talk about that too
Yep.
before I leave today. Evan has notes apparently. He
Okay.
does have some input.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, we got a wedding coming up soon. We got to move out the day after the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Small wedding. We still have a big wedding happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot happening.
Nothing's
Once.
happening.
What?
Nothing's happening.
There's so much happening that nothing is
Yeah.
happening. Yeah, exactly. It's a little overwhelming, but we're getting there. But we are talking about the Pentagon today. So I guess there was this fake picture going around, again, from AI. It was like a picture of it exploding, and it went viral on Twitter, and it kind of blew up.
Yeah, and crashed the market.
Yeah.
So before we get to, are we diving straight into it? Because we got to reset.
Yeah.
We got to set the show.
Oh,
Before we
set
dive
the
straight
scene.
into it.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Okay. Well, today, guys, welcome to the Work Wherever podcast, the podcast where we talk about AI, automation, the ability to work wherever so you can live every day like it's Saturday. This is a internet hotspot where we cruise through the internet, pull out articles. Sydney's here. That's how you know what it is. So we're pulling out news articles, talk about tech trends within the news. We have 3 other flavors. We have Roy's Rants, which is what you guys have gotten the last couple weeks if you guys have been listening. Thanks for listening. We've had our best month continually, which we broke. We broke our download records, which was pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. They keep going up. I love that. So welcome to all you new listeners. Those of you guys have been listening to Roy's Rants, probably. The hotspot is today's episode. That's me and Sydney go through news articles. We have Homegrown. That's where Haley and I, we go through and we talk about, it's more of like a lifestyle podcast. We talk about homeschooling and the ability to travel while working wherever. And then we have traditional sit-down interviews, which we haven't done one of those went around in a while. Haley and I just got invited, actually, to be on another podcast to do an interview. So maybe we'll do an interview swap with them. So we'll have another interview for that coming on.
It's exciting.
Yeah, and then Haley and I just talked about doing another podcast for Homegrown, so we should have another 1 or 2 of those coming soon. I know those get good downloads.
Yeah.
Everybody likes those.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we got. That's the setting of the table today. And for those of you who don't know, I own Capital Presence, my wife and I do, and we are based out of the Washington, D.C. area. So Pentagon is down the street from us.
Yeah. It's even it's probably like a 4-minute drive from my house.
Yeah, it's very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
I hold my clearance out of the Pentagon. That's where I'm. It's called CACT, so Common Access Card, and my CAC is out of the Pentagon. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell people that, but
Yeah.
if you know, it wouldn't be very hard to find out what clearance level I have and where I do business out of. But the Pentagon, I'm old enough to remember 9/11. You were probably like 2, but
Well, I remember.
do you? What grade were you in?
I was in. Let's see.
Don't go too deep because people are gonna find
Well,
out your birth year now.
It's okay. I was born in '94.
Damn it, Sydney.
Sorry, guys. And then
Her social security number is 1234.
I posted a picture
I know
yesterday,
that.
and it is in my picture, and I definitely like sent it to like other people. Like
That's
my
not
parents and
smart.
stuff. It's okay.
It's not okay, but you'll
well,
get by.
You know, I sent it to my parents. They should already know that. Yeah. So this was in 2001. So I was like 7 or 8.
Okay, so I was in high school.
I don't know if that's mathing, but I was like 2nd grade maybe.
Okay.
I do recall.
I was a sophomore in high school, and I saw the second plane hit. We turned the TV on. I don't know if classrooms still have TVs, but we had the TV in the corner, the bubble screen TVs. Did you guys used to have those?
We did not in elementary school, but
well, elementary school you had like the wheel out.
Right,
but in
it
high school
didn't
did
have
you?
anything like that in high school.
Honestly, that'd be
Not
pretty
everybody
concerning
had TVs.
if your elementary school
They didn't
wheeled
show
out
us.
a TV.
No, I just remember like sitting there and a bunch of kids just kept getting pulled out of school.
Yeah, because their parents probably worked at the Pentagon.
Maybe. Yeah. Like I know it's so cheap. Yeah, and I remember going to my grandma's house and seeing it on TV.
Did they let you out of school early?
I think I also got pulled out maybe.
Yeah. They sent us home.
I don't
the whole
remember.
school.
I don't remember if it ended early, but I just know like tons of kids kept getting pulled out. But my grandma lived like right down the street, so
yeah,
I remember seeing it on TV.
So you're 2 counties away from the Pentagon. Well, you grew up 2 counties away because there's Arlington County, which is where the Pentagon actually is.
So
then Fairfax, then Prince William.
I went to Catholic school. So we followed like the diocese. We didn't actually follow a county like school.
No, I know. I'm just saying as to how close you are in proximity growing up.
Oh yeah, it was like the Diocese of Arlington. So, yes.
Oh, you were in Arlington?
No, my school fell in that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess it does.
So like we didn't go through like with the public school counties.
Yeah.
We had like our own diocese. Like.
Wow. Okay.
So like if there was a snow day, I got so mad all the time, because they like our county could be closed, but like the diocese
Arlington.
They wouldn't close school.
Interesting. So I bring that up because the high school I went to was 9 miles from the Pentagon, right down Route 50. So that's where I grew up. And so when the Pentagon, the first tower got hit, it was more so, what we were told was a bomb went off at the Pentagon. I remember the other history teacher coming in, running in and saying, a bomb just went off at the Pentagon.
Jeez.
We turned the TV on. I'm in history class, mind you. So, like, we turn the TV on, we're watching the news coverage, and then the second plane hits, and we're all like, holy crap, what's going on? And then, at this point, everyone's kind of freaking out, right? Lessons have stopped. We've literally stopped school, and we're watching TV. Then, the Pentagon gets hit. And when the Pentagon got hit, they evacuated our high school because they did, we were so close to the Pentagon that they'd send everybody home. Plus, this area, you either work for the government or your work is associated with the government. Like, there aren't many people who are just like trades. Obviously, the trades exist around here, but the entire, even the people who are in the trades support the government in some form or fashion. You're like working on their vehicles or have contracts with the government in some form or fashion. That's just the entire economy revolves around quite literally the Pentagon. So they sent everybody home, and it was like, I want to say it was like second period. So we had the whole day
early.
off. Yeah, it was very early. And yeah, they sent us home, and we didn't go back the next day either. And I just remember it was like a weird, eerie feeling.
Right. I remember like watching like the towers on TV. Like I remember this happening, but I don't remember like seeing that as much. And then there was the other one in Pennsylvania, which
those are the people who fought back.
One of my
That one was
family
supposed
members
to hit
that
the
happened.
White
I
House.
want to say it was like Somerset County, Pennsylvania, and he, I think, a firefighter, and he was like
responded
it was
to
his county.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my family up there. So he
I've
was,
been
like,
to
one of
the
first
site
people there.
where it happened, and they have like a memorial thing
Yeah.
there. But that one was said to be headed to the White House. That's what they say. The flight path was said to go to the White House. Now, those of you who have never been to D.C., airplanes flying over the Pentagon, well, not so much anymore, but airplanes flying over the Pentagon in that general area is not really that weird. Reagan
Right,
National
there's
Airport is
airport
right,
right
next to it.
Mm-hmm.
So people seeing planes flying over that area of 395 is not that weird.
All the time.
Yeah. And military airplanes are right there. You see helicopters. You see all kinds of things. Now, obviously, this was much, much different. And so you could even say there are some conspiracy theorists out there that will say that it was a missile because the plane and all the... Well, there's so many, like, conspiracy theories around the whole Pentagon plane. We're not going to get into that today. Yeah. But we are going to get into a different conspiracy theory. I guess you could call it a conspiracy theory. A different thing that has happened in regards to the Pentagon that ties back to 9/11 and what we were just talking about. And that's this AI-generated image of a bomb going off at the Pentagon. So it was covered by just about every news network. It originated from a Twitter account, which just happened to be verified. It was a verified Twitter account. Now, what does verified Twitter account mean in today's day?
It means you have $8 a month.
Exactly. You purchased a subscription, you verified via ID. So they know who this person is. Put it that way. You know, when you get verified, you have to upload a picture of your driver's license or an ID.
Really?
So whoever did this, they have their identification. So they'll probably be prosecuted, I would imagine. There is a law, I believe it's like instituting a riot. And so
yeah.
This is pretty damn close.
They love that one.
You know? This person made an AI generated image of a bomb going off at the Pentagon, and it was tweeted out from a verified account, picked up by news outlets, and then these news outlets ran with story, bomb goes off, retweeting it. I don't know how long the image was up or how long it took people to realize that it was fake, but this is another...
I totally missed this story.
It was another time when these knee-jerk, news reporting is just like, well, we got to be first. It's no longer we got to be right. We got to be first.
Fact check this.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's presidential election 2000 all over again, which you're probably too young to remember that too, but all the false reporting of who won, whether it was Bush or Gore, and those were basically just news outlets reporting, trying to be first and not right. And that's what created that whole thing. But we still see that in today's 24-hour news cycle. And it crashed. This fake picture crashed the stocks.
Was this the picture?
This picture we have up
the one I keep seeing on all
the one that we have up on the screen for those of you on YouTube. That's just the Pentagon.
Maybe they don't want to spread that around.
Which this is why it's called the Pentagon. If you're looking on YouTube, it has
5 sides.
Yeah, it has 5 sides. That's why it's called the Pentagon. And this place is quite literally a mall. Have you ever been to the Pentagon?
I have been in the Pentagon, yes.
They have full shopping centers. They have a mall. They have food. They have dentists, barbers. Like, you could live there. In fact, that's why they did it, so that they ever have to lock down.
Probably goes way underground. Also.
Way. There are tunnels
I'm sure.
that, I assume this is public knowledge. There are tunnels that run under the Pentagon to Crystal City, which is right across the street. So there are like evacuation plans, and it's quite literally a military base.
Yeah.
This is where the entire heart of the military takes place. If you are at the Pentagon, you are a high-ranking military member. You're out of the field. You're no longer doing the trainings. You're no longer doing the boot camp stuff. Like, you're a high-ranking military official if you're at the Pentagon, or you're me. Like just some guy.
Right. They just let anybody
just some
in
guy.
now.
No, it's not. They don't just let me in. I've had to do.
I got in. I don't know. I was like going to.
You were probably on a tour.
I think it was a retirement.
Okay. We've met people there. Like, there are pictures of like Haley and Abby, who used to work here, going on like tours of the Pentagon, meeting officials. Like, we've been on meetings there. That's a totally different area than where, like, if you go up into the Pentagon. So like when you walk in, there's like escalators, and it's very like, ooh, welcome to the Pentagon. Take your picture over here, like a fake booth,
Mm-hmm.
where like the tours go. But then you have to be badged, and then after you get badged, you can go like to different levels, and the different levels are more like, they're like concrete, strong structure, like ability to pass explosion type areas. And yeah, that's where like the people work, you know, like the higher rankers. And then there's people like me who go there and just make sure their data works,
Just
right?
sometimes.
Just
Yeah.
there. But
Have you ever been in the White House?
I have a few times. Yeah.
Too.
I was on a contract that
Christmas.
supported the executive office before.
Ooh.
I've supported the executive office. I've supported the Pentagon. I've supported SIGAR, which doesn't exist anymore, but SIGAR is Special Inspector General for Afghan Reconstruction. So it was all about the war in Afghanistan and our efforts in supporting the rebuilding of Afghanistan. So yeah, I mean, I hold a clearance with the Department of Defense. So if there is a military operative that has supported the warfighter or the veteran, I've been around it. I worked for the VA. I worked for Defense Health, both of which support the warfighters' health and well-being. And then I've been on the warfighter side with like Navy,
Right.
Army, doing things that are direct supporting a war effort and the warfighter. So yeah, I grew up here too, you know?
Yeah.
So when you see images around explosions around the Pentagon, like, it's a big deal. The Pentagon is the heart of this area. Our entire economy circles around this 5-sided building.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see an explosion around the Pentagon, people have flashbacks to 9/11. Like, it is not something to mess with.
No.
So like, this person may have just been like, well, you know, I was just creating an image or whatever. But no, that's terrorism. This is a big deal. And since they know that this person was blue check verified, they better.
That's like making a bomb threat.
You
like,
better
at school.
prosecute this.
Like,
Yeah.
or-
You just did a bomb
worse.
threat to the military.
Right.
And let me just say, our military gets threats of terrorism and bombs on the Pentagon daily.
Sure.
Every day. We get threats of foreign adversaries, domestic terrorists, every day.
Right.
We're
and
threatened.
I'm sure there's been pictures of this, like, just in general all the time, but it didn't go to where the news outlets started picking it up.
There is always a threat. The Pentagon is under constant threat and surveillance.
Right.
So something like this is crazy. And I've seen reports. I saw 500 million. I saw 500 billion in market loss. I don't know the exact number. Maybe you can look that up. I've heard reports of the different ones. And the picture, if you do have the actual, and you're able to find the actual picture, it's just the outside of the Pentagon and one of the gates, and then an explosion. You don't have to pull it up on this page, you know, for
I'll pop it in.
for our YouTube. If you can, that would be cool. But we'll drop it in the show so that when you're watching it on YouTube, you can see the actual picture, and you can actually see what was sent out.
There.
You're gonna send it out.
After.
Okay, cool.
It's easier.
But the bigger question here becomes is, what do we do about this? Because the internet, you should have the freedom in some form or fashion to post and say what you want. I'm sure this person, well, I don't know. When he tweeted it out, did he say anything with it? Like, what was the original tweet? I still haven't seen the original tweet as to what went off. If this was a holy crap, a bomb just went off at the Pentagon thing, or if it was just like, hey, I created an AI image of the, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not sure what the original one said, but
probably been taken down.
For the news anyways, large explosion near the Pentagon complex in Washington, D.C. Initial report. Now deleted, post-read.
What article was that? Does it say the news outlet?
Doesn't say.
But multiple news outlets reported this. And so then it becomes, at what point are we going to say that this is cyber terrorism?
Sure.
And how far has AI gotten that we could potentially see this as a trend with, I mean, look, this crashed our market. If you can find a number of how much it actually crashed, I want to say $500 billion. And somebody out there made a lot of money short selling this too. That when you see this market crash, people are buying and then selling. So somebody out there made a lot of money. A lot of money. Now, I hope that's not what this was. That this was not somebody out there who's trying to short sell the market, put something out there that is fictitious, an artificial intelligence and AI generated image, with the purpose to short sell the market. I hope that's not what this is. There are people who are saying that this could become a trend where we start to see more of these AI generated images to fluctuate markets. Or could you imagine if we created an AI generated image of a competitor? Like if we're Pepsi and we create an fake AI generated image that has Coke doing something horrible. CEO of Coke does such and such.
Does Coke.
You know, whatever, right? Explosion goes off at Coke and they can't fulfill, or blockage with their, and then people stop buying Coca-Cola. We just saw what happened with Bud Light and all of the stuff that they're doing and how much of a market at Target, and they're taking major plummet hits.
Billions.
Yeah. All it takes is one person to create an AI generated thing to attack somebody that's not true for them to crash, and then they can't recuperate. They're not Bud Light. They're not Target. They're just run-of-the-mill somebody, you know?
Okay.
This is cyber warfare.
I think I found it here.
You got it?
The U.S. stock market took a noticeable dip. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell about 80 points between 10:06 a.m. and 10:10 a.m., fully recovering by 10:13 a.m. Similarly,
so 2 hours?
Broader S&P 500 went up from 0.02% at 10:06 and down to 0.15% at 10:09.
So how long was it? How long was it down for?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
It seems like.
Oh, I thought you said 2 hours.
It says
2
between
minutes.
10:06 a.m. and 10:10 a.m. And the other one, S&P, from 10:06 to 10:09.
So that's short sell time. The amount that you can sell and buy and sell stocks in 2 minutes is astronomical. Somebody made a lot of money doing this. Now, is that the purpose of this AI generated image? I really, really, really hope not. I hope that this was just some stupid kid messing around the internet, not realizing that he's being a terrorist and potentially inciting cyber war, and he's just being an idiot. I really, really hope that's what this was. But the tinfoil hat in me, and the one who understands and has been around DC my entire life, thinks that this was planned. I have no proof of that, but that's the way that this comes off. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We also had another thing that happened here in DC, whereas somebody rented a U-Haul from St. Louis, or at least the St. Louis area, I believe it's Chesterfield, Missouri, rented a U-Haul, had nothing in it, 19-year-old kid, drove to Lafayette Plaza, which is like a block from the White House.
Like a metro station.
Yeah, metro station. Ran into the security thing there, which, when I say ran into it, like, it like your mind goes to like this person plowed into it. That's not what happened. That's the way that the news article was reported. And so there's this whole other like Nazi flag thing that's going on. The person who crashed it, not a white guy, but had a Nazi flag with him. I don't know. It's very weird. Like,
I saw a little bit of that.
It's a whole weird scenario situation. But and that by itself is not necessarily that weird. Stuff like that happens in DC all the time. But when you pair it with this bomb from the Pentagon, and you pair it with the everything that's happening around the congressional budget and the congressional hearings around AI, it's a very weird 10 days,
right,
2 weeks that we've had surrounding artificial intelligence and, more importantly, the federal government and military. So it'll be weird, and it's something to keep an eye on over the next couple weeks, month, as we head into summer sessions. So the Congress and the courts, they shut down for the summer. So if we don't get a congressional budget and the courts leave for the summer, going to be in some serious trouble. So keep an eye on the congressional budget. Keep an eye on more artificial intelligence generated terrorism attacks.
Right. I'm reading this now. It says that one of the Twitter pages that retweeted it has over 335,000 followers and was a verified page, and that the owner apologized for spreading misinformation and said the incident was an example of how easily these sort of images can be used to manipulate the information space and how dangerous this could be in the future.
Super dangerous.
So again, I don't know if he did it on purpose. It doesn't sound like this guy did, but...
Okay, so the person who created the image was not verified. It's somebody who retweeted it was verified?
That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better.
That's what it sounds like to me. They probably found it on Reddit or something like that.
Yeah. That makes me feel a little bit better.
And it talks about another recent one of the Pope that was wearing a white puffer jacket.
Yeah, he's wearing a Balenciaga jacket.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That was what it was.
We talked about that whole Balenciaga scandal, too.
Yeah, which is super evil.
Super evil. I've been, on Sorry, I love TikTok.
You can talk about TikTok all you want.
I know we say don't use it.
Don't use TikTok.
I don't know if it's a show or what, but they're like, it's like To Catch a Predator, kind of.
Okay.
But I guess it's like a new technology, so they're using AI to create these fake photos of children.
Oh.
So
to try to catch a predator. So
right.
they're not using
a real
people.
child. They're using AI.
Man, that's kind of evil. That's such like a like.
Right. So I think they're making like this picture of a fake, like a face of like a fake kid, but they're using that to like.
I will say that I know this for a fact that the FBI and areas within the federal government utilize artificial intelligence and the social media to profile people to go after potential criminals, terrorists, and stuff like that, to pigeonhole them. And this would be another example of that, what you're talking about, creating false images or fake or AI generated images to catch people so that your neighbor's kid doesn't have to pose as like a model and potentially ruin the kid's life because of images of him. So that is like a good area of using artificial intelligence. Because if it was my kid, if somebody came to me and they were like, hey, can we use pictures of your kid to catch predators? Like, there's such a gray area there.
Never.
You're like, nah, I want to like not have that as a thing.
Right.
Because if that picture goes out, this screwed up person in the head could take a screenshot of the image, upload it to Google, do a facial recognition search on my kid, find his real Facebook profile, which he doesn't have one, but if it did exist, or find images of him out there linking to my Facebook, potentially find out where we live. Yeah. Just a bad rabbit hole to go down. Yeah. So this AI generated images, I think it pairs timely with the congressional hearings that are going on, which I think we're going to do a separate podcast on that. And it's something to keep an eye on, because I think whoever created this image should be persecuted. I think they should be persecuted as a terrorist, and we need to put our foot down on this to say, you can't do that. You can't do it.
What is it? What was the comedian that I think it was like Kathy Griffin or something.
I hate that. I hate Kathy Griffin.
She was like holding like a thing of like Trump's head.
Yeah.
Like severed head. Didn't she get in trouble for that?
I haven't heard from her since. She did get in trouble with it. I don't think it was like as much trouble as she should have got into. To me, that is treason. You're holding the head of the acting president, bloody, in your hands, posing as if you are a terrorist, because that's what the Iraqi terrorists groups, that's what they were doing. They were posing with heads of journalists and high-ranking officials, and it was an act of war against the American military and the country.
Right.
So if you're posing, I don't care if you think you're being an artist or not. If you're posing with the head of an acting president, then you're a terrorist. I'm not the biggest fan of President Donald Trump or President Joe Biden. I am not. Neither of them would I champion and say this is an amazing person. But you don't mess with a president. Like, that's still my president. Like it or not, Joe Biden is your president out there, everybody. And so you treat the office with respect. You might not have to love Joe Biden or love everything he's doing, but you treat the office of the presidency in the executive branch with respect, because that's what our our entire government is founded on. So to pretend to sever the head of some individual is going way too far. Creating you could even argue that creating like AI generated videos to make fun of the president is going too far. I understand that there's like the lightheartedness. That's definitely different, you know, than pretending to kill the president.
Well, that gets back into like deep, like those.
It gets into deep
and
fakes
stuff. Like there's a difference between like taking sound bits and making a funny song out of like parts of what they have said before, and then like.
Yeah. To be clear, I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think that it's funny. It's in good heart. But what I'm saying is there is a line.
But taking his voice and taking his likeness and making it look like a real video where he's like saying something.
Not cool.
Yeah.
And there's a gray area.
Right.
And that's what we need to figure out, what that gray area is. Because I think there's song parodies out there of like Donald Trump. It's not real Donald Trump, but it's YouTube videos out there of him singing about the wall.
Right, but it's like clips of one word.
They've
clips.
cut it up.
Exactly.
They did one for
Well,
Obama where he was singing. They did one, you know, Biden. They used the AI to like do like videos of him like falling asleep and stuff.
We don't need AI.
Like there's, but my point is like people will always be creative to do this, right?
Right.
That's different than holding up the head of a severed dummy of the president.
Yes.
But where's the line? And I think we're getting closer and closer to defining where the line is with AI-generated images like fake explosions at the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you like it, share it. We don't run ads, and we rely on you guys to share out the show and so that it grows. You're doing that, and we thank you for it. So please keep it up. We're on all platforms. We're on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever your podcasts are found.
Best on
iTunes, by far.
By far.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you to all our Apple listeners because you guys are crushing it.
Mm-hmm.
But we are on YouTube too, so go check us out on YouTube.
If you want to see us.
If you want to see us, see what we look like, and drop some comments in our YouTube comments, and we'll answer some questions. Maybe we'll do some Q&A one of these days.
Argue with us.
Or just argue with us. You know, just do that. But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Go to goworkwherever.com for all episodes and all things around the site. If you want to see any of the articles, I think we post the articles that we talk about there.
We don't, but I can do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
And then we are doing more and more.
I link them usually in the description.
Okay, cool. So they are posted there at a certain point. But maybe we'll post them up there too for you guys to read. Yeah. See what you think. So we are doing more and more at goworkwherever.com. So just, you know, for all things podcasts and all things Work Wherever related, go check out goworkwherever.com. Thanks for hanging out. Got anything else?
That's it.
Thanks, guys. See you. Hey there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for all the latest videos from Capital Presence.